Good morning. This is Tattooed Alex on a beautiful Saturday morning. A little chilly out here, probably about 53, 54 degrees right now. And things I wanted to talk about today was I'm actually going to do a review on my 2016 Harley Davidson 48. I've actually got, just want to give you a quick kind of show you what I got. Mostly stock except for the seat. That is a Sundowner Solo. The stock seat was just abysmal, man. That thing was pretty bad. I do like on the back of this here, it's kind of nice padding on there, and I felt like on the original seat, I felt like my butt was literally going to slide off the back of the bike, especially when you hit that throttle and started moving. I just didn't feel real secure on there. That seat was just horrible. This one's much better. I think the seat was about $250. Also, I got the Harley Davidson Sissy Bar. I've previously done a review on that. It's great. Just mainly use it for my backpack. When I go to work, especially during the summer, I have a vented jacket, and when I have the backpack on my back, obviously preventing the airflow, so pretty warm. So I just usually have like a laptop, a couple of things in there, and so I strap it to the Sissy Bar. Much better in the summer now. So I do have the stock exhaust. The only other thing I have is this cell phone mount here. I was watching a video on YouTube, BX Polymath, a fellow YouTuber out there out in the Bronx. He had it on, had a link in there, asked him how it was, said it was great, so I went ahead and got it. I've got a Galaxy S7 in there now. I've got a 7 Plus, but I haven't put it in there. Mainly I have this for my work phone, so if I know if somebody work's calling, I can either answer through my helmet or just let it ring, depending who that is. So, and I have just a small tool bag up front that I got a couple things in there. So, one of the things, so let me see here. I want to get to my mileage. Let's see here. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. So, I've got 2,270 miles right now. So, sometimes you watch these reviews, guy takes it out for for a couple miles or so, talks about it, and I enjoy those videos. And I thought, I've had this bike since about the end of February, and I felt like at 2,270 miles, I could give you a pretty accurate review of it, or my opinion of it. Obviously one of the biggest specs I did want to talk about was the peanut gas tank. Peanut tank is only 2.1 gallons. So your distance is obviously a lot less than you would on a bigger tank. So I'm actually at a gas station right now. Just got gas. I've got 58.5 miles, and I put 1.16 gallons in. So I put just a hair over half a gallon, basically, of the total 2.1 tank in there. So I've got 58 miles, so honestly, my honest opinion, bike can easily go 100, 110, 110 miles, probably max. It all depends, obviously, how you ride and how much you rev. And keep in mind, when I'm giving you this, I'm also giving you my style of riding out here, kind of in the country. This road is 55 miles per hour. There's a couple lights here and there, but not a whole lot of stop and go. You pretty much, once you get on, you catch, there's actually 2 lights here and then back out east in in the plains. So there's not a whole lot of traffic, so I'm actually moving pretty good. Said I've got a couple lights till I get here, and it's actually an awesome ride out here. I love being out here. I've talked about in my other videos, not a whole lot of cars. So if you're riding in the city where you've got a lot of stop and go, that's a totally different situation. I had a video probably a little bit over a month ago where I actually ran out of gas. I was actually at 65 miles. My gas light came on at about 60, and I kind of I was riding it to work, and I didn't realize or think about it that I'd actually ridden to work, so the mileage I had wouldn't get me as far. And so, sure enough, I actually ran out of gas like pulling in from the light over here. Right after I pulled in, I had to hit my foot a couple of times, and once I turned, there's kind of a a little bit of a slant here that kind of takes me down a little bit of a hill, so I was able to ride it right up to the pump, and that was at 65 miles. So keep that in mind. We're looking at 100, 110 at pretty much a solid ride of not real a whole lot of stop and go. In the city, you're going to get considerably less. So I had 65, but I probably had about 25 miles of it was in this kind of road, and I had about 40, 45 miles in the city. So if you are riding strictly in the city, you may only get 50, 60 miles out of that. So definitely keep that in mind. The 48 isn't for everybody. You definitely have to look at your style of riding and what you do on that. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was comfort. I had 3 previous Honda Cruisers, and they were all mid-level controls. On the 48, these are forward-facing, and at first it was a little strange because I've been riding for about 15, 16 years with mid-level controls, not forward-facing. But once I got used to it, it's great, no issues whatsoever. I think if you're over 6 foot, you may not have enough leg room, and you may start to cramp up a little bit. So, but as far as my riding style, this is actually perfect for my frame. Lean over a little bit for the handlebars, but very, very comfortable. I mean, I've been out riding, 2.5, 3 hours, no cramping whatsoever. Now, obviously, you do have to stop for gas and that, but very, very comfortable. So, one of the things I want to talk about was power. It's a 1200. I came from a 1300, and so when I was looking at Harley Davidsons, I was originally looking at the 883, and I was kind of concerned about the power on that because I was used to the bigger engine. So I did go with the 1200, and it's got a ton of power on it. As a matter of fact, my other bike is a 1300, did not have, it was heavier than this, but does not have, my opinion, the power that this bike has on the 1200. I mean, you rip that throttle and you are moving, no issues passing cars up, getting ahead of however many cars. So it absolutely has a ton of power. And that's one of the things to be careful of that I wasn't used to on my other bike. On this one, boy, you've got to be real careful when you hit that throttle because you do move. You've really got to control that. So, as far as the shocks are concerned, it's a Sportster. You hit some stuff, it's going to suck a little bit. Obviously, you try and avoid the potholes and try and avoid, manhole covers and things. But, sometimes you hit a little bump, you definitely feel it. So, I'm fortunate enough on the roads I ride out in here in Colorado, I don't hit. We don't have a ton of bad roads out here. Another fellow biker pulling in here. But we don't have a lot of bad roads out there where I'm constantly hitting, hitting bumps and stuff. But, it is adjustable. I think, I don't ride 2-up. They do have adjustments you can make. I think according to the weight, if you're riding 2-up, honestly, I've never made any adjustments. It's fine. I don't really have any issues with it. If I was hitting a ton of bad roads and ton of bumps, yeah, it'd probably suck. I've hit some pretty decent ones, and I felt that, but, not that bad at all. So, as far as a Sportster and, should you buy it, again, it all depends what your style of riding is. And actually, I'm going to take off here and start hitting the road. I've got some errands to run, and let me reset my mileage here. So, but yeah, it all depends on your style of riding. If you've got, if you plan on doing a bunch of touring, I definitely wouldn't recommend the 48. My opinion, the 48 isn't meant for these long hauls and, a couple of days at a time. For me, the 48 is mainly for riding inside the city. Within the city limits, outside, a little bit like I'm riding, but not really meant for long hauls. Now, granted, over the summer they had Triple X Deadhead out in Sean Smoke. A couple of guys went and did that ride out to Yellowstone, and a couple of them had 803s. Now, granted, it's a gallon bigger, but if you put your mind to it, you can definitely do it. You're just going to have to stop for gas a lot more. But overall, I recommend the 48 for anybody that's going to be doing some similar riding like myself. kind of around town and, you know, outside a little bit in the country. But you know, if you're pretty much set on doing some riding where you're going out for days at a time, I really wouldn't recommend the 48. I recommend it if you'd like another bike that you're looking at. They're a lot of fun. You know, I mean, pretty much a bare bones motorcycle. They start at $12,000. I didn't look if the 2017 has gone up, but definitely a fun bike to ride. I mean, definitely has everything I was looking for in a motorcycle. And you know, even with the smaller tank, I mean, I love the look of the 48. And I mean, if that's what you're looking for, you know, make that decision. So if you have any questions about the 48, feel free to leave a comment and give me a like. And thank you for watching.